As I was ringing the bell a moment ago, I got this, I don't know, feeling, this awareness. How many times has that bell been rung? Malcolm Mule Thornton told me a story about that bell, that they ordered it from back east somewhere, and the first church service was going to be, when the building was complete, the first Sunday in December in 1907. The first Saturday in December 1907, a wagon pulled up out in front of the church with the bell in it. And they all scurried and got ropes and pulleys and got it up into the bell tower the night before the first church service. And I know that Esther Leaf Green, a couple of you remember Esther. She was a daughter of one of the original 13 members. She was born in 1913. She rang that bell for years and years and years. And on that rope, there are some really funky, tasteless, fake plastic flowers. Esther put those on that rope in about 1950, and I'm not brave enough to take them off. And look at this wood in this room. 14 years ago, they put that up. Nothing has been done for 114 years except maybe it got oiled once or twice, got dusted once or twice. What do we do today that's going to last 114 years? I stand here, and sometimes I just sit here in this empty room by myself by the hour, and I consider how blessed I am to be able to sit in this sacred place. Just thought I'd pass that along. You can take your mask off if you like.
I think I better. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I had a good time preparing for today, but I did it so well. I spent hours and hours. With just lots of so many ideas, and I thought, I can't narrow these down. So bear with me. I did finally. It might be too simple now, but it was fun. I feel like I traveled the universe because something that I ran across this week was, you are not the drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. And this is by Rumi, who's a Persian poet and religious leader from about 1200. And speaking of that, I thought, this is early in the morning and it's kind of expansive. And I started thinking about a special person among us, Bonnie, that she comes and makes that coffee for us. And when we drink that coffee, we have some of her love coming through, and I thought, what a lovely universe in the drop that she is. So along that line, another one was from Eckhart Tolle, you are a focal point where the universe is becoming conscious of itself. What an amazing miracle. And pondering it really helped. It got my mind off small things. And it was just fun to think of what I think of as universes out there, the mysterious, unfathomable that we can think about. So to close, I have some wonderful things from Einstein, Albert Einstein. And this one was kind of new to me, but kind of not. Concerning matter, we have been all wrong. What we have called matter is energy, whose vibration has been so lowered as to be perceptible to the senses. Matter is spirit reduced to the point of visibility. There is no matter. And it's, I took philosophy in college way back when. We studied it in the philosophical terms, like, is this real or isn't it? And here it is, it's interesting. And he says, Einstein, we are souls dressed up in sacred biochemical garments, and our bodies are the instruments through which our souls play their music.
Janet, thank you very much. The instruments in which our souls play their music. That's quite profound, actually. Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Glad to see you all this morning. I was going to talk about something, and it just totally left my mind. I got to thinking about my body playing, wasn't that a party? Anyway, speaking of wasn't that a party, we had a wedding yesterday in our hall. Sometimes we have rental situations and celebrations that work out very, very well, and sometimes not so great. Yesterday was one of those not so great ones. And we've got a few issues to contend with this morning. The halls are very dirty and the floor is very sticky and the kitchen sink's a little stopped up. But other than that, it's just almost as good as it was 114 years ago. So let's keep that in mind. It's just a little cumbersome today, a little inconvenient and not real pretty today, but it'll get well. And so keep that in mind when we go in. If you run water in the sink, it eventually goes down. It's just a little slow, and we'll take care of that after I change clothes. So Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, right here, discussion. Who knows what it'll be, unless you've already chosen something. Thursday morning. A week from Thursday, because you met this past Thursday morning. 10 o'clock, book study in the hall. Next Sunday, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the hall. The board will meet and conduct the important business of Church of the Oaks. 9 o'clock next Sunday in the hall, all the board members. Any other announcements? Anything? I want to thank everybody for their participation in the accordion festival. They made a lot of money down at the jam tent, and people donated a bunch of accordions that they sold, and our student scholarship fund is alive and well. I haven't found out how much scholarship monies each kid got, but I will. But they've been a little crazy to try to get well from the last weekend. So, but thank you all. It's a pleasure to be part of such a program as the Student Stage and the Student Scholarship Fund. Anything else?
It's about the best accordion festival they've ever had.
Yeah.
Everybody was so happy. And
Yeah.
I had a couple people saying,
Yeah.
thank God you made it. You
Yeah.
know, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Just,
You know, I think a lot of the events that are starting up, I think people this last couple of years of this difficult pandemic and our very difficult economy and our whole lifestyles have been challenged, no matter who we are. But I think it's given us a time to redefine value and what's important, and let us remember again that what getting together as a society, coming together and being able to connect, the joy that can be instead of just yada yada, that's what we do. It's we really truly enjoy our experiences that we have with others now. So, but that's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. All right, let's stand up and sing I've Got Peace Like a River. Now we may greet each other in whatever fashion we feel comfortable. I didn't get a single hug. So schedule it again. So that was my call on the 24th. There is Mr. Firestone in the place.
You sounded good. You're on. I hate to say it. I don't hate to say
Woman, I'll tell you what.
Not everybody just maybe take a big deep breath. Do you know how fortunate we are? Did you ever stop and think about how fortunate we are to have a family like this?
Yeah.
That just accepts us however we are, really cares. We're so fortunate. I'm going to talk more about that in a little while, about really caring and accepting. We know we don't pass a basket at Church of the Oaks any longer. We used to. We used to have two ushers come down, and we'd sing number 1 or 2, Praise God, the good is everywhere. Kelly and Bonnie remember. And we decided that it would be good practice for each of us to, when we choose to share our abundance and prosperity, that we make a choice to gift a gift. Not, oh, the church wants money, they're passing the basket again. No, it's not about that. It's about the consciousness of prosperity and abundance, and the choice of sharing your time, your talent, your thought, and your treasures. So we put the basket in the back, so it has to be a choice to put your gift in. And I think that's a great practice for all of us. And that's, I just thought I'd explain again why we do that. Some of you have heard it 100 times, and some of you may have never heard it. So there we go. And at like my age, you could hear it 100 times, and it's like you heard it the first time because you just forgot. Just forgot. Let's read together our affirmation of abundance for this month. When we truly begin to want more for others than we want for ourselves, we will begin to notice amazing changes in our own lives. May we ponder that wisdom for a moment. Thank you, Debbie. As we prepare ourselves for our time of meditation, let's sing together In the Stillness of the Silence, number 97 in the Wings.
For today's meditation, I'm going to share something that I like to do. So please close your eyes, relax the muscles around your eyes and feel them becoming lighter as tension lifts off them and your face. Now, soften your shoulders, and your body will follow with the relaxation. As you breathe slowly, envision light filling every cell of your body so that you become 1,000,000 tiny lights. As you exhale, slowly envision light flowing from you, around you, surrounding others. The inhale is for you. The light will find any areas of ache, physical or mental. The exhale blesses others with the light. So let's take a few minutes of breathing in light and exhaling light. As you finish this meditation, close down by surrounding yourself with the protective light of God. For the love of God surrounds you always. And the love of God protects you, and so it is.
Thank you very much, Kelly and Debbie. So many times I start a talk by clarifying or mentioning something kind of dark or something that's wrong or in need of improving. And sometimes in our day-to-day lives, we get kind of bogged down in the junk. And I had an amazing week. I had little things go wrong, but it was just amazing. I talked to my granddaughter a few days ago, and she called me, and she doesn't call me very often. She's kind of one of these messenger people, Facebook Messenger. And I said, Kiara, how are you? She said, well, I've been better, Grandpa. I said, what happened? She said, well, I totaled my car. Somebody turned left right in front of me. It was their fault, their insurance, but they only want to give me $1,100 for my car, and I paid $4,000 for it, and I'm angry. I said, well, call your insurance company and have them do the best they can do, but that's kind of how it is. And I said, so other than that, how's your world? She said, well, she's taking engineering. She doesn't know whether she wants to design robotic prostheses or be a space engineer for NASA. But she's going to do one of those things, maybe, or something similar. She said, I I just don't understand my engineering teacher. I said, what's going on? She said, well, this professor, he shows us a picture of a piece of a machine, and then he says, draw the part you can't see. And I said, oh, I like that guy. And she said, I think he's weird. I said, no, he is teaching you what engineers should know. She's also taking welding. I said, your welding teacher is teaching you how to do an exact craft, teaching you how to do a task. All different kinds, but each one is a task. You learn it and practice it. Engineering is different. What your engineering professor is teaching you is how to use imagination and then certain laws of nature and physics and science that make it possible to become a reality, to create something for a specific purpose that's never been created before. And that requires your imagination. You have to be able to see what you can't see and then turn it into something that everybody can see. And she said, well, I never thought about it that way. She said, that sounds pretty cool, actually. I said, go for it. Just keep on doing that. That's what, you're not taught to do a craft. You're taught to imagine and use your brain and think and create. That's what engineering is. Like me, I'm an engineer, and I was so happy. So, and speaking of that, I've shared with a couple of you that when I was in college in engineering, I took sociology for 2 or 3 years because what I really wanted to do was become a social engineer. But they really didn't have that. Sociology was the most boring class a human being can take. All it is about learning about all of the trends and data for civilizations since they started keeping track, and then they just imagine some of them and they make stuff up. And it's so boring, and you can fall asleep in these lectures that go on. But I came across something this week by accident that just set me on fire. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was watching Link TV. I couldn't sleep. I'd had a piece of pecan pie with whipped cream on it and a cup of coffee, and I'm kind of getting through the night. I saw this thing about some outfit down in Austin, Texas, some guy that had initials for this thing, and they created this homeless community, and it was like mobile loaves and fishes. It went off. So I got up, put my robe on, sat down at my computer, and I started Googling all this stuff. Oh my goodness. This fellow, and his name is Alan Graham, in 1998, went to a Catholic church in Austin, and in 1998, he and 5 of his friends in that same parish, one of whom happened to be homeless not too long before that, decided they were going to do something about feeding the homeless people in Austin. So they went and got a bunch of groceries, asked for donations, and went over to the church kitchen and made up a bunch of sandwiches, and they got chips and all kinds of stuff. And one of the guys had an old green minivan like my old Plymouth, and they just went downtown to places where homeless guys started passing out food. And one of these guys, the homeless guy of these 5 gentlemen that started this, and they called it Mobile Loaves and Fishes. And so he said, it's really important. So many people that give away food, just give it away. The food banks where you walk up the homeless person or the needy person is on this side of the counter, and the person that passes out is on the food is on the other side of the counter. What do you need? I need some oatmeal and some. They throw it on the counter and you leave. It's cold. It's just a giveaway. It's important for the person distributing the food to stand right next to the person that gets it. Grab the food out of the car, put it in their hand, shake their hand, and give them a hug. And if you catch a disease or you get bugs, you can fix that. There's ways to deal with that. But these people, these homeless people, this guy believes, and this organization believes that homelessness is almost always, not always, but almost always, caused by a catastrophic loss of family or community. And that in itself creates an illness within a person. And then when society just looks at them, spits at them, ignores them, a few people will make a little effort. Hi, how you doing? But they don't want to get close. They don't want to have any kind of relationship because these homeless people, everybody knows they're losers. They're just lazy losers or crazy people that should be locked up. No, they're human beings that had some unfortunate happenings in their lives. And so they started passing out food, and they got a pickup, and then they got another pickup, and they got these chrome boxes on the back where the shop leads lifted up, and there's ice downside, and they pass out meals, and they pass out shoes and blankets and toothpaste and mouthwash and Band-Aids and Neosporin and stuff that homeless people need. And with every gift that they share, there's a handshake and a hug. There's talk. They sit around and drink coffee and have talk. And since 1998, I think they have served 3.5 million meals. They have several trucks that run every day at lunchtime, every night at supper time, way into the late evening, all over Austin, Texas. Then this guy, Alan Graham, he said, we ought to be able to create a community and family of these people. Kind of recreate a place where they can have some dignity, be able to do something, because most people who have been homeless for 10 years or 15 years or 20 have some severe disabilities. They really do. Either mental or physical, most of the time, both. Addiction problems, lots of things. But they're human beings, and they cry out for relationship. They want family. They want togetherness, just like every human being. So he got people to, this guy can hustle money. He gets people to give money, and he talks. And I'm going to ask you all to look him up and watch his videos for a lot of different reasons. But he collected enough money, and they start off and they bought, I think, 51 acres. And they started this community, and it's called Community First Village. And I'll tell you that a few more times. Community First Village. And what it is, they got some RVs, and then they started building these little tiny houses. They're like 12 by 12, and it's like one room. There's no plumbing in these tiny houses, but there's electric, there's a bed and a couch and a refrigerator and a microwave and a coffee pot. And then every so often they put in a community private shower, bathroom, and laundromat. And your shower, you walk in and you lock the door behind you. Private shower. Bathrooms, same thing, you lock the door. A laundromat on the end of that building. And for 250 people, there are 5 of these buildings that have several showers, several toilets. They have community kitchens where you can go and cook, and they're big commercial, huge commission. And there's like 4 or 5 of those in each of these groups of tiny homes. And the RVs have plumbing. They rent. Yeah, everybody has to pay rent from $200 a month to $400 a month. Most of the people there have some sort of SSI or SSID income. They can afford a couple $100 rent. That's your place. You lock the door. It's totally furnished. They do interviews when you're going to move in. What's your favorite color? What kind of furniture do you like? And they furnish these little houses and these RVs to suit the coming in tenant. It's amazing. They've got 3 or 4 of these, what are they, copiers that print, 3D printers that print. They build houses. They built 3 houses that these 3D printers made. It's amazing. And so phase 1, they started this in about 2014. 2015 or 16, they finished phase 1. And that was about 200 dwellings of one guy. Then they finished phase 2, and that was another 300. So there's 500 different kinds of things, RVs or tiny houses in this village now. They have, I'm going to list you some of the things they have. They have a community inn, which is a bed and breakfast. And they invite people from all over the country to come and stay in one of these tiny houses or trailers like an old Airstream or an RV and stay for at least 2 nights to watch what's going on. And you can stay as long as you want, and they will give you the blueprints, the financials, the scheme, the plan, so that this can be carbon copied, recreated all across the country and all across the world. That's their goal, is to recreate, build something that actually works, and then recreate it, rubber stamp it all around the country. And they have a cinema, an outdoor cinema, which is right by, it's got a big stage with a big screen. Everybody sits outside. They have bands. They have every Friday night's free movie night. It's open to the public. They ask for volunteers. There are literally thousands of citizens from Austin that go out and volunteer, take care of the place, work in the organic gardens. They've got 2. They grow enough to feed everybody in that community, and it's all free. Go out and help work in the garden, and there's every Saturday is the farmer's market. Go get what fruits and vegetables you like. They have a chicken house. There's eggs and there's chickens. It's amazing, the thought. And everything, why? There's community kitchens, community bathrooms, the movie night. There are fire circles with chairs and swings around the fire pit, all around it. That's all about building relationship and community. Community first. And it's amazing. I want all of you, oh, there's more things. They've got a car care place. Some people know how to work on cars a little bit. You can get your tires rotated, get your oil changed, get some real basic car care done. They have a forge, blacksmith shop where people can go create art out of metal. They have statewide and Southwest blacksmith competitions there, blacksmithing competition. It's amazing. They have a silkscreen printing shop. They have an art center. It's an art house where all kinds of art people can do. And when you create art in the silkscreen shop or in the art house, whatever medium you use, or in the metal shop, or in the wood shop, or in the glass blowing shop, they have a community market where you can not only get like a 7-Eleven store stuff, you also can sell your stuff. And they price it so that the materials, which are all provided by donation, cost about 12%. So 80%, 88% of whatever your project, your artwork brings, you get cash, 88% of what it's sold for. 12% goes to maintain the cost of the raw materials. Okay, I think I a lot of stuff, but this is something that I wanted to create when I was in college, a society that works. They're just now starting phase 3 of this. Instead of 500 people, phase 3 is going to be on 90 acres or 140. It's going to be for 1,400 people, many homes, RVs. Somebody asked them, well, is this like transitional housing? No. This is something that they can have and spend the rest of their lives building community and having a family, a permanent situation where they are an integral part of, feel a part of. They have ways to make money. If you want to work for the bed and breakfast and clean sheets and do stuff like that, you are paid a living wage for it, a real hourly wage. If you want to work in the auto shop and change tires and do stuff, you are paid a wage. There are volunteers. They want to help build a society that is based on, I got it written down here because they want to build a community with create a lifestyle of service with and not for the homeless. They aren't homeless anymore. They have a home. And they want to create this village, this society where people take on a lifestyle of serving others. It's amazing, and it works. You see these people, they were drug addicts, and some of them still use drugs. They were alcoholics, they still drink beer, they drink alcohol. But they have a community, they have a family, and they are doing fantastic. And the problems they have are so small, he said, it's not even worth mentioning. Anytime you have people, you have some problems. He said, the police get called less than once a year. He said, it's amazing. The nicest neighborhoods in Austin, the cops get called more than they get called to the village of homeless people, because it's not a gift. They have to pay rent. They have to take part. They have to participate. That's their community. If they want to live there, they have to participate it with dignity and with worth and with acceptance. When I was in college, my sociology class, second or third year, I don't remember, it was a long time ago. But we'll say this is about 1974. I had to do a project. So I redesigned the pretty new at the time welfare system for the United States. My plan was to utilize all of the unused military installations in the United States. Back then they didn't have cell phones, they had payphones. You could go to any payphone, pick it up and dial a free number and tell the City of Hope, whichever military base that was, I'm in trouble, I need help. They will send someone to pick you up, and they will take you to the City of Hope. The City of Hope was self-sustaining, had its own farms, had its own schools, had its babysitting. If you were there, you had to work, and you were paid minimum wage. At that time, it was $1.25. 80% of your pay was withheld for your room and board and groceries and stuff. But everybody had a job. So not only did you go out and farm and grow the groceries, you were paid for that. And you got to keep 25% of what you actually made. If you had children, there was daycare, there was health care, there were metal shops, wood shops, maintenance shops, schools, all kinds, self-sufficient community. And you could leave whenever you wanted. You could, once you got your head on back on straight, and you figured out what you could do for a job, you're welcome to leave. And if you need to come back, just pick up a phone, any payphone, and come back. Not a real great place, probably, but it was a community where you worked and you were paid. You could have some dignity. Sounds very familiar, doesn't it? I designed this in 1974, and my professor gave me a C-. It was too communistic for the time, I'm sure. But I'm going to ask you to write down MLF.org. Mobile Loaves and Fishes.org. Go to their website. Then there's another thing that I really hope you do is go to YouTube and type in Community First Village. And when you start typing that, you'll get about 3/4 of it in, and it'll say Austin, click on it. And there's like 100 videos. There's tours, there's advertising, there's places for, watch some of those videos. Watch how people that were out and out rejected from society, by society, become happy community members that have ownership, the ownership of participation in their community. They have family, their next door neighbors. Every one of these tiny houses, every house, everything is, make sure it has a porch of some kind with chairs on it so they can sit together on somebody's porch and talk. They don't have a lot of money, but there's things to always do. But the big thing is create that family feeling, create that community. Community first village. Now, I've told you that for several reasons. I don't expect that you're going to watch that and decide, let's start a homeless community in Santa Rosa.
The church lawn.
If it was 10 years ago, I wouldn't be here today. I'd be in Austin at their bed and breakfast, figuring out how this was done. Because 10 years ago, I had connections through the chamber, through lending institutions, through the economic development board that I was on in Sonoma County. I could have made some waves. I could have really made things happen. I'm sure I could have, and there's enough people who think like that. We could make it happen. I'm too tired. But I'm not too tired to talk about it. And why I ask you to do this, a couple reasons. We hear a lot about Texas. Oh, the place where now they got a law. If you find out somebody's having an abortion, you can turn them into the cops, and then you can go to court and get $10,000, sue those people, and they can pay you the money. It's like Gestapo law. That's the things that the politicians, the hate mongers, are selling in Texas. But there's other things happening in Texas, things like this, that are, oh my God, fantastic. And no matter how crappy the politicians and the rich, forceful people can be, humanity is doing some wonderful. And I want all of you to be as amazed as I was by watching those videos. See, oh my God, what can happen? This consciousness of giving a damn about your fellow human beings and then doing something about it. And another reason I'm sharing this with you today, and I'd like you to watch those videos, it's like brainstorming. Every one of you is going to have a different take on what you see. And maybe you will see one of these, all the marks and all the tattoos from the gang stuff, and maybe you'll see or hear something that will turn on another little light in your consciousness. What that guy said, that homeless dude, what he said. I need to talk to my cousin because he's got some real negative. I can talk to him, I can show him that video, and his life might shift a little bit. Every one of you will hear and see something different than I saw while watching the same video. But if you keep an open mind, if you allow your imagination to do its job, and become an engineer of imagination, who knows what amazing things might come of that in your life or somebody's life that you know. Who knows? But I'm going to put some legs on this. We're going to have, what is it, Bonnie, the last Sunday of the month? Potluck. We're going to have potluck again the last Sunday of this month. That'll be the 31st, I think. And I think the 31st is a great day to share our thoughts about Community First Village, about mobile loaves and fishes, what we thought of those videos, what we thought of what kind of amazing thing maybe our crisis wranglers, or maybe Gloria and Susan and Kelly might, wow, we could do that. It's one little thing, we could maybe put a fire circle down at the end of the block and get neighbors to come together and sit out there on Friday nights and share about what our grandkids did and develop some of that community. Folks, today in most of our town, we don't even know the names of our next door neighbors. Us in our pretentious little societies, we don't know who our next door neighbors is. We don't know the names of their kids and grandkids. Why? We're meant to have community and family. That's what kind of creatures we are. Why have we become so selfish and secluded and separated? This is an opportunity for every one of us to think about our own lives, our families, our communities. And I know, thank goodness we can pick our friends. You know, sometimes families are a bit, but we can actually choose our community, and we can accept. But we don't choose each other in here, do we? We just show up and we accept each other as we are. I'm going to give you a whole month to ponder this and to watch those videos and to think about it. And the 31st, We're going to have discussion at potluck. We're going to talk about some things. I hope. Use your imaginations. It's the most wonderful gift we were given as human beings. Let's stand up and sing Imagine.
Imagine all the people living